Hey, this is Martin Drummond with Progressive News, Monday, March 16th, 2020.
Well-known Democrat Party functionary that I've spoken to that has not, off the record, admitted to me that there is a problem with Joe Biden. And when they say that, they are primarily speaking about something has happened or something is wrong. What they describe to me as cognitive decline. I mean, I guess there's many ways to describe it. We all know it because we all have parents, or grandparents, or great-grandparents. We've all seen it. It starts to worry us, it starts to concern us. But it's not all the time, and so it looks like, things are still okay. And we're decent people. And
Okay, so I'd like to point something out here that nobody seems to be getting. And that's that as far as Biden fans go, he performed very well in the debate. As far as I'm concerned, he lied very well in the debate. He did call Iraq Iran. So he's still not capable of getting his word salad correct. But what I saw was somebody on performance enhancing drugs. Now, I don't know why nobody else thought of this, but as usual, I tend to notice things quicker and I don't have any proof, I mean, it's not like any of his doctors are going to come out and say, yeah, Joe's on Ritalin or something. I don't know what he's on. But I definitely felt that way when I was watching him, because I actually watched part of the debate, I think the second half or something. So there's this.
This was a scene on the big board within just a few seconds. The Dow down a whopping 9.71%. It kept on plunging. Trading on the S&P 500 was suspended after a 9% fall.
Yeah, so I mean, this is going to continue for like 4 months at least. And the WHO gave out their thing, and what they're saying is, if you see or know somebody with flu-like symptoms, to isolate them and find out who they have been in contact with in the last, couple of weeks, and try to isolate them. Try to get everybody to self-isolate. Of course, the best reason to self-isolate is to not get the virus. I carry this around with me. It's just an old glass cleaner bottle. It's got about 50 or 60% bleach, and it's got liquid laundry detergent, because that's the cheapest liquid laundry or cheapest liquid detergent I can find. And it turns it white or clear because the bleach causes the blue laundry detergent to go clear. And as far as what's sprayed on, use your own discretion, but I even douse my money that I'm getting when I come home. I put everything that I've touched outside that might be infected and might get infected from contact with other things that might get infected in one pocket on my jacket, and I take it out while I have bleach all over my hands, and I spray it, lay it down on the desk here and spray it. You know, this virus is no joke, man. I mean, I got SARS. It's the same thing. When somebody says you feel like you got hit by a truck, you know, you find it hard to breathe, and that's what would kill you if something killed you. So, you know, take it seriously and take self-quarantine seriously, as in something you do anytime you're outside of your private space. Anything you bring in, you know, try not to walk through places where there's potentially infected people breathing, because it can be passed simply by walking through their breath and breathing in their breath if it's still floating in the air. So obviously if there were a lot of people in a room and they were breathing in and out, if you're in that room, you've got to think about that. Don't touch your face. I can show you something else you might want to do. This is something I do all the time. This is how I stay clean. I don't take showers or anything because I don't like to waste water, because 90% of the time I'm not around to shower. So I have, this one's for my feet because I like not having nail fungus and stuff, but I have one for my face, which I do my face and my scalp and everything, and but anyway, that's about cleanliness, and I'm not going to get into that, but I have extremely good health from all this. So I have one I use on my face, and I'll do my eyes and my mouth, and sometimes my neck, and sometimes I use that one for my arms because I have a problem with, you can't really see it anymore because I've been doing it forever, but where the sun damaged my arms, it creates an area where there's a lot of dead skin. The skin doesn't rejuvenate properly. So anyway, again, that's something else. But the point is that I use it on everything. I have one it's falling down in here. Anyway, one that I use for when I eat. I will totally clean whatever I use to eat, including frying pans or anything. Get every bit of food out. Now this is something that goes back to your great-grandmother, you know, telling you, oh, eat every little bit of food on your plate. But what it really is good for is making it easy to clean stuff. Because once you've got it pretty well clean, and yes, I'll even lick my plate and, you know, use my finger to get every bit of juice or whatever out of things, and then I'll just use this, and these things last for weeks. I mean, they get a little dirty, but they, oh, I didn't say, I dip these in vinegar and get them nice and wet and squeeze them out until they're not dripping, and then put them in these cottage cheese, or this is a dip, and put them in there. And you know, after you use them, leave them in there for about 30 minutes and it'll kill any bacteria that's on them. And I find that they'll last weeks, if not a month or more, to be reused over and over again. They get everything really clean, and they most certainly will kill a virus. Okay? I mean, it's an acid or a base or whatever. It breaks it down. And I might suggest using vinegar as, I mean, just a little bit, and water or something is supposed to kill like bleach, and it's not carcinogenic as far as I know. I mean, we all have eaten at least, and I do eat salad with vinegar and oil, right? So it's not like and you eat pickled things. So, this is a secondary thing as far as the virus, but this is a valuable thing to know for saving water and for hygiene. I mean, it even keeps my underarms from smelling. I do use deodorant, but it does 90% of the job, and then the deodorant does the rest. So there's that. As far as the stock market, I don't imagine most of the people I deal with have any money in it at this point. I mean, if you were smart and you got out December 21st, you're really smart. I try to keep my mom from making big mistakes, so I got her out on January 1st, and she lost $50,000. My inheritance. If you know me, I don't care. I don't care about capitalist bullshit. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in money. I don't think things should be based on money. I think they should be based on need. People before politics kind of thing. So, my mom wants to lose my inheritance, and, I gave it all to her. When my dad died, I just said, I don't want it. He sat me down and asked me if I wanted him to put it in my name. And honestly, at the time, I considered it blood money. I mean, it was all made off it was made off of me. I'm the one who did all the work and basically ran the company. I mean, some of the times he wouldn't listen to me, but when he did, he found out he was making a big mistake. And a lot of people don't believe me when I talk about myself this way, right? But the fact is in 2004, he had to fire somebody, and he came to me and he said, would I quit? And I said, no, but you can go ahead and fire me. I mean, why should I quit? I'm doing a great job. Well, he had 45, maybe 50 accounts then in 2004 when I quit. I went out and got some accounts and survived, barely, But when I came back to Lexington, he had 3 accounts, and he was barely making. I mean, I think he might have been losing money, actually. So, you can think I'm arrogant and egotistical for talking about myself the way I do, but the facts bear out what I say in all things that I say, because I don't think about reality. I think I'm putting that backwards. I do think about the facts and reality before anything comes out of this mouth, alright? So, that's why I think people should listen to me, I look at other people and look at what they're doing, and a lot of it's good work. I'm not saying it's not, but most of them have an overrated opinion of themselves. Most of them are getting what they're getting from somewhere else. Nobody's ever said anything about Joe Biden possibly being on performance-enhancing drugs before. I look around. I follow the news. I mean, you can see where I get most of my news. And if I find any feeds that are really good, so Sky News is right-wing bullshit, but at the same time, they tell the truth about a lot of stuff. They're very good on climate change, right? TRT World, sorry to say it, but the Turks have the Syrian crisis. They don't ever lie. They don't ever exaggerate. They simply put out the truth. Even their opinions align with reality. Guardian News, mostly bullshit, but you can get some good stuff out of them. And I'm so familiar with all these different feeds, and I have, I don't know, maybe 50 of them, and I get the truth out of them. I leave the lies or lies by omission or whatever behind, and then I give them to you. So probably nobody's even watching this, so they're not even going to have the opportunity, but it's a place for you to get insightful news. It's insightful. Think about it. Is Joe Biden using performing enhancing drugs? And you can't use them forever. Sooner or later they start to affect you negatively, and they're not worth taking anymore. I mean, anything that speeds your heart up or makes your brain pump harder is going to have a negative effect. Only natural ways of taking care of health are not going to have negative effects down the line. This was my first Feel the Burn t-shirt. Of course, I've told you how I came up with Feel the Burn. I actually ran across the site recently. I'm trying to remember how I found it. Maybe in my activity log. I ran across somebody who had a good article, and it was from the site. And anyway, I'm just going to... It was a Bernie for President group. It was the biggest one, and it was way back in 2015 when he first announced, and they had a post in the group about coming up with a slogan, and everybody was coming up with these slogans, and I thought of the one he had, and I realized it sounds so much like Obama, like progress you can believe in or something like that, and I thought, nah, I'm not going to do that one. And I thought, Feel the Burn. That sounds kind of cool, Feel the Burn. Of course he didn't take it, because, Bernie is a great socialist. Personally, I think he's a communist, because communists don't believe in communism. They don't believe in going from capitalism to communism overnight. They simply care about people, and they simply want to go in that direction to where you start taking care of people better and better. Unions, collective bargaining, everything, safety nets. I've never, I've met a few idiots who are communists and they believe in revolution, as in bloody revolution. I mean, it's worked before, right? In Russia and China and places like that. Of course, the fallacy there is the governments that came out of it weren't nearly as oppressive as capitalism is. I mean, look at our jails. Look at how we throw everybody in jail who dares to steal a pen from Walmart, or something like that. I mean, that's very oppressive, if you ask me. Taking people who are desperate already, somebody steals food from the grocery store, instantly. Do not attack capitalism in a, violent or way like that. And they make examples of all these people. Communism was born out of oppression. Communism was, you were in a tent city outside of a big factory, or occupying a factory or whatever, and in come the hooligans, basically mercenaries, some cops maybe, on horseback, riding over, stepping on babies and children and women. That's where communism comes from. And that's certainly where the more violent, militant kind of communism comes from. Anybody would become militant if they saw a woman or a child stomped to death by a horse or something like that. I know I have seen some of that, not that, but something, things related to where people suffered really bad from capitalist oppression, people who couldn't get their medicine, things like that. And I'm everything short of militant. I just don't think violence will get us what we want. I firmly believe that we will win this political revolution. It may take years. It may take, Bernie obviously is up against the worst kind of corruption. So it may take a little while, and it may not be Bernie. I mean, looks like AOC would win, right? All these people, and what is wrong with them? These people who can't see that AOC and Bernie are pretty much the same, pretty close to the same. And yet they don't like Bernie, but they like AOC. They don't like Bernie maybe just because he's a gray-haired old man, and she's cute. The women seem to love AOC. I love AOC. I'm not saying I don't love AOC. I consider her the last-ditch hope for taking back our party. I mean, when I was growing up, Democrats were like communists, because all the Democratic Party was like Bernie. Well, not all of them, because there have been a lot of stealing of elections all over the place, and these conservative Democrats, blue dogs, and now establishment Democrats, they've always been around. But I would say that back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, right up to 92, I would say that most Democrats were like Bernie, kind of closet communists, you know what I mean? I was. I used to argue with people all day long over, like, Cuba. I mean, even Bernie in the debate last night, let those idiot CNN hosts call Cuba a dictatorship. Well, do you know that Cuba has a system where everybody goes and votes for their area, and they vote for a person, like you might have the DNC type situation, like a representative, and that representative votes for the president according to what the people voted to put him into office. They have a better system of representation in Cuba than we have in the United States. You know, the only difference is that everybody in Cuba loves Castros and they love communists because they know that they'd be in a far worse situation. You know, instead of sharing amongst all the poor people, there would be, you know, Batista, these dictators, real dictators, backed by the U.S. mafia and what have you, who would keep those people. And, you know, capitalism just creates horror because you can get people into bad situations. So using money and desperation, you hire people and they become part of your company and stuff, and then you, if you're a bad person, you could manipulate them with that money, right? You understand what I'm saying? You can rape them, murder them. I mean, you've got them kind of out in the open where you can do anything you want to them and get away with it. You know, if they're not working for you, it's hard to take advantage of them, but even then, you get a lot of whores, you get a lot of, and I don't have anything against whores, okay? I don't use them, but at the same time, I would never condemn a woman, a desperate woman, for trying to make money that way. And I think it should be legalized, and it should be a health situation, and people should, you know, get tested and what have you. Okay, so look, I think Biden was on drugs last night. I really do. I think he lied about everything. I think he lied his ass off on Social Security. I think he's lying his ass off on health care. Because, you know, I get health care through Obamacare, and I understand that, but I get it because I got no income. What I'm wondering about is why it doesn't cover everybody. Why are there 30 million people underinsured or not insured, you know? And, you know, what's that structural defect? And why won't the establishment Democrats admit to it? Well, because they want to win elections, right? And so, I mean, our problem is that we need universal health care. We need Medicare for all enhanced, because it doesn't nearly do everything. And even after all of that, I'm telling you, we're going to have to reform these doctors because they hate us. I mean, we're going in and sitting in front of a person that fucking hates us, you know? We don't have any money to pay them. They hate us. Really, I mean, do you want somebody managing your health care who hates you? I mean, think about it, man. Now, I'm not saying every one of them is like that, but the ones who hate us, and I know my doctor isn't like that, but I've been to plenty of doctors who are exactly like that, and you can you can feel it when you go down, you go in there. You know, they're very abrupt. They aren't interested in anything you have to say. They think they know everything and that they're the final word, even though they know they're not the final word. You are the final word. Every time you go into the doctor, you are your own doctor. You know, they act like they know so much, and I've read books on medicine. I used to study the brain a lot. Read a couple of good books on that, textbooks from the colleges. So I know a lot about it, but every one of you is a doctor. You know why? Because you have a human body, which is what health is all about, with you to observe 24/7, 365 days of the year, 80, 90 years, 60 years at least, hopefully. You know, I know what my mouth is doing, my eyes, my ears, my nose, my chest, I may not have. The only reason that we even have a medical establishment is to keep you from. Imagine if you could just walk in and tell them, I want x-rays of my arms, legs, whatever. Imagine if you could walk in and just tell them, I need an MRI for my chest. Imagine if you could get prescriptions with just a minor bit of somebody checking on you, making sure you're not, maybe not for pain relievers, but antibiotics, So that's what they're doing with the medical establishment. They're creating a situation where you have to go basically beg for anything, right? So, I don't know about you, but I think what I say is perfectly logical. I have a lot of people tell me I'm nuts. And really fuck them, because they're the ones who are nuts. I mean, I got into an argument. I'm going to show you. Let's have a look to see if I can find something here. Because I'm a member of Bernie or Bust. And I was having this. I posted this. I'll show you what I posted. Where are you, Bernie or Bust? Here's one. Okay, so I posted this, right? I'm a Democrat and I will vote for Trump. Why? Because fuck Joe Biden. Now, to anybody who isn't biased, they're going to instantly realize that I'm obviously talking about the general election. Because otherwise, I'd just vote for Bernie, right? I mean, it says feeling the burn right across my picture there. What don't they get? But I got all these people arguing with me. And so, they say, why won't cast a vote for Biden or Trump? Why would I? Never. Okay? And yeah, I get that. I understand why people say they would never vote for Trump. But that's nothing to do with it, man. This is a plan to take back our party from conservative fake Democrats. And I can go right there and show you. And it has right there in the announcements. Why would it be unavailable? I just posted this the other day. It was the... Okay, well there it is. I don't know what's going on with that first link. But it says the plan is pretty simple, really, to take back our party, which has been corrupted by big money. It seems nothing is sacred, and I consider my Democratic Party, the progressive side of it, to be sacred. Definitely. Seeing as it's up against something that I consider to be a horror, is being run by fake Democrats who don't give a shit about us. We rally Democrats into a voter bloc. We use this Facebook group to form this voter bloc. And yes, I know you are all going to raise your eyebrows, and I feel your pain, I really do, but we, this voter bloc, is going to vote for the Republican. Right? Repugnant, conservative, Republican. I come up with these things all the time, and they do catch on. You know, there's other ones that I came up with, like Republican, and all those kind of... I used them constantly when I was arguing with people in, like, Yahoo political forums and stuff like that. And this is way back in the 90s. So this stuff's been around for a long time, and yeah, it came from me. I invented shillery. Think about that. I'm the first one who came up with it, and I purposely spread it around to get it started. And it got pretty big. I haven't seen it lately, but I know it's very big. And you really have to make things go viral if you're me. I mean, I get into every forum and voice chat and everything I can think of, and on all these Facebook groups. You know, in 2014, when I started this, I was kicked out of every Democratic or liberal group on Facebook, which I'd been members of for years. And yeah, I was kicked out of all those groups. Why? Because I said I refused to vote for Hillary Clinton. So from the very beginning, when it became clear that they were planning on making Shillery, because I don't call her Hillary, I just do once in a while, but as a rule I don't. And Shillery with the $ is the S. And by the way, somebody else came up with the $ and I loved it, so I use it all the time. It became clear that they were going to make her, and they were basically going to anoint her. In these groups, it was just like, don't ever talk about anybody else but Hillary. And I was like, I ain't voting for her. There's no way I'm going to fucking vote for Hillary Clinton. Not knowing that she represented the worst criminals, drug runners and everything, money launderers, rapists. She got a rapist off, we all heard of that. As part of this Rose law firm, she was protecting all these people. And apparently she was fairly good at it, but then when the whole towns and everything, I think this was Hope, Arkansas, and probably Little Rock, and when they're all run by the mafia, when they have so much influence, how hard is it to be a successful criminal lawyer, right? White collar criminal, drugs, yeah, but you know, most of that is on paper. It's not like, well, they were using. I absolutely believe that they threw parties where there were little mountains of coke on the table and young girls, all the same kind of stuff you hear about over and over again. All that's true, you know. I mean, if you are a study of the Franklin cover-up, right? You know that this has all been documented by the FBI and whoever. anybody who tells you it's not is a fucking liar, and they're probably trying to protect some belief that they want to believe because they don't want to hurt their, I guess, the end it's their wallet, but basically their interest group. So, I mean, going way back to then when she's just out of college and stuff, she's been a criminal all her life. That's why I don't have a hard time believing that she manipulated the Vince Foster. I mean, a guy doesn't kill himself for no reason, right? And I would say the main reason was chivalry and Slick Willie. I think they've gotten a lot of people to somehow die. Anyway, so I was in those groups, and they all kicked me out because I refused to say I would vote for Hillary. So what else did he say? But we, this voter bloc, is going to vote for the Republican, blah, blah, blah. I know I hate them as much, and probably more than you do. But remember, you're not voting for the Republican, you're voting against Joe Biden or whoever they end up running, because there's a lot of talk now about how they're going to use Joe right up to the election, and then knowing that he will lose to Trump, they will put Hillary in. How's that going to help? They're both a couple of establishment Democrats, money-grubbing, corporate bullshitters. Anyway, so you are voting against Biden, whoever. The point to doing this is to make him lose. And that's all, that's why we did it in 2016, okay? It's pretty simple. We're dealing a blow to the establishment Democrats. I mean, they don't like losing. And they miss the power of having one of them in the presidency. Obama was one of them, Obviously Clinton was one of them. And while they're in there, behind the scenes, they use everything they can find to crush the progressive movement and to crush the progressive agenda. So they're worse for us than Trump. Trump's not really interested in the progressive agenda, and he doesn't really have the power, not being a Democrat. He really doesn't have the power to do the things that an establishment Democrat can do, right? I mean, Obama could talk shit about Bernie or progressive Democrats and make it far worse for us. I mean, because he's not a Republican. So people take him more seriously when he talks about the party. But he is a Republican in a way. I mean, it is establishment Republicans and Democrats versus progressive Republicans and Democrats. There are progressive Republicans. And yes, we're very much on the same side. Maybe libertarians have a different way of trying to accomplish the same thing, but they're still trying to accomplish health care for all, just through some kind of bullshit, because they don't understand capitalism can never do that. They think they can because they think they're smart. Well, thinking and being are two different things. You can think a lot of things. It doesn't make them real. Like, my shirt, it says, feel the Trump. No, it doesn't. It says feel the burn. The reality's right there for you. And anybody who thinks it says Field of Trump is a stupid idiot. Okay, so basically that's enough for you to understand what this is all about. So these people all say about the same thing, you know, call me fucking insane. You said you're going to vote for Trump. No, I didn't say I'm going to vote for Trump. I said I'm going to vote for Trump if Bernie isn't if it's Biden. If it's Biden, I'll vote for Trump. So, you know, I mean, God, the ignorance out there, it's just stupid. They always jump to the wrong conclusion, and then while they're wrong, they're trying to be insulting. And you know, I don't get insulted because I know who I am, and I know what I think and what I believe, and I know they're full of shit, right? So I don't care if they want to make fools out of themselves. But you know, I make it clear all through here what's going on, really. Make sure and throw up my group the plan to take back our party at every opportunity. Hopefully because I did have some people join after this argument from this group. So it's worth it. It's worth the time you put in. You know, I can't really go out there and stump for Bernie. I mean, I can in my neighborhood. Well, it's not my neighborhood, but I'm here enough that I could walk down the street and knock on doors and go, help me out, man. Vote for Bernie. But online, my 5,000 friends on Facebook, they're already voting for Bernie, you know, in one way or another, and I'm not going to convince them because they're already convinced. But I do spend my time on here constantly promoting, so I do more than my fair share. You know, I experienced phone banking in 2016. What a waste of time. Oh my God. You'd call and call and call, spend an hour calling, and you'd get one person who actually wanted to talk to you. It's sad. It's sad. It's another sign of the times. People are totally distrustful. No matter how reasonable you are, no matter how honest you are, they won't take the time to find out. They're cynical. Most people are very cynical. Very cynical. So anyway, I like that one. Come with me if you want to live. I just got it off the guy the other day. It's great. What did this guy post? Biden president, Trump 2020, Keep America Great campaign. No universal health care. No climate action. No, you know, this is just a hit per hit about the debate because he claimed every single one of these he was for. And bullshit, Biden. Bullshit. You're the biggest fucking liar. Oh yes, I was for the $15 an hour minimum wage. Bullshit. I was for legalization of marriage. Bullshit. All of these establishment Democrats get money from the for-profit prison system. Endless wars, war on drugs. Look, this is perfect. I mean, this matches up. exactly Trump and Biden matchup. And Trump is only Trump because who his masters are. And I would say Biden is the same thing, except for Biden's closer to being a master himself. And Trump is close to being a master of the master of evil, right? So why are we surprised when they lie their asses off? Okay. I think that's all I have to say. What is it, Monday? Oh my god, we got a whole week to get through. So, this is Martin Drummond with Progressive News. Wait a minute. Let me get my face up there because for some reason you need to see my face. It's doing so much. I mean, when I started this program, I never intended to put my face in there because I want no personal, whatever, fame or anything. I'm just here to help. So, I didn't feel, I mean, who cares what the guy talking about looks like or sounds like, for that matter. What's important is how, what he has to say, the words, what they mean, and how accurate and insightful they are. That's all that matters. And I don't want to, I've never taken donations, never will. I will never take a donation. So, if I don't want the money, and I don't want the fame, all that I would like is to be recognized for my contribution. Like when I come up with an idea like today that Biden is using performance enhancing drugs, what I really want out of that is for somebody to go out there and find out he is, and report it with documentation. I'm not in a position where I can go around investigating and interviewing people. I don't have that's something you get with fame, because famous people don't want to be interviewed by nobodies like me, right? So I can't do any of that. So all I have to offer is that when I come up with something that is insightful, when I come up with something that nobody else seems to notice. So that's my contribution, And I'd like to have recognition for it, but no fame. And I don't think the two are compatible. I mean, being unpopular or whatever, lack of fame or whatever, and recognition for what you do. But, at least I get it down here on Facebook, on YouTube, so at least I have a record. I guess that's okay. I guess that's okay, that I'm able to do that at least. Alright. Even I'm getting bored with myself, so I'll talk to you next time. I'll have a nice week. Try to tolerate all the bullshit. Stay safe. Stay in an area where the air and everything you touch and everything is isolated. Put a box on the table or something, and when you come in with possibly the mail, money, any of your items which might have gotten contaminated, dump them in the box. Don't handle them again until you spray your hands and then handle them wet with the bleach. Alright, so always lose track of this stuff. There we go, then my progressive news with the American Spring banner in the background. So y'all stay safe and have a nice week. I hope you get through it without catching anything.